Just a few days ago, we saw the Kepler Interactive Senior Operations and Growth Manager absolutely melt down on social media because Flintlock, the Siege of Dawn, was added to the Sweet Baby Inc. boycott list, but there has been a hilarious turn of events. I have a few things to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or through YouTube memberships. Now, I did actually cover this in another video, it will be linked down below, but there's been a hilarious turn of events, and I wanted to quickly reference that Park Place article to show you guys the initial situation. It says Lisa Kane, the Senior Operations and Growth Manager for Kepler Interactive, the video game developer publishing the upcoming Flintlock, The Siege of Dawn, shared her rage to social media after the game was added to the Sweet Baby Inc. boycott list. There are tons of developers who are realizing the power of Sweet Baby Inc. Detected and of educated consumers. I've said this a dozen times, but when you are an educated consumer, they will fear you because they know you will not purchase the trash that they're releasing, that you actually research the products that you are buying, and that is not what they want. They want mindless consumers to just shut up, purchase a product, and move to the next, and that's not happening anymore. And so, when they see their games being added to this Sweet Baby Inc. list that, yes, is the basis for a lot of games that people are going to boycott, they freak out because they do realize now that they are added to this list, there are over 300,000 people who have followed that list who will be watching it and who will ultimately decide not to purchase this game because of the changes that Sweet Baby Inc. made, or just because Sweet Baby Inc. was involved in its development process. And something like Flintlock, we've heard a lot of questionable things about, like before they brought in basically a diversity manager, and before they brought Sweet Baby Inc. in, there was actually a white lead, and they went in, they made the lead black, they changed a lot of the dialogue. They just made a lot of changes. This is a tweet from Mark Kern. Did you know the protagonist of Flintlock used to be white? When COO and casting director Andrea Tops joined the studio, her first actions were to change the character to hire Sweet Baby Inc. and change the main character to a person of color. This marked the beginnings of the problems with the game and studio. And I've got to be honest, the gameplay for this title actually doesn't look half bad, but at the same time, now we have Sweet Baby Inc. involvement. We have people actively changing things around just for the sake of diversity. And while things like diversity and inclusivity are positive and should be praised, I can't praise a company who's doing it just to follow corporate DEI and ESG trends. That's just not something that we should be praising. And of course, after Flintlock was added to this list, she decided to make this post on X, which of course brought her a lot more backlash, absolutely fuming, vibrating off the effing plane of reality. This piss-weak pseudo-journalism that the far-right Gamergate are taking is so vile, incredible to see in real time and closer to home, how wrong Grums, and of course she adds the asterisks, is, and how damaging he and his weird troop are. Oh yes, we are weird and we are evil simply because we are educated consumers. To her, we are just the most vile people on the planet because we don't want to support a game that has forced diversity and modern narratives, and probably is just going to be a mediocre experience all around because even before this game was added to the list, people were not particularly happy with it, and its trailers are all getting absolutely ratioed or dislike bombed. Like this one on the PlayStation account isn't quite ratioed yet, but it's sitting at 1.7 likes and 1.6 dislikes, so it's right there. It's about to surpass the likes. The dislikes are going to be greater, and the comment section is filled with people saying things like SBI detected, you're right, your world is in chaos, you let Kim Belair in the door. And yeah, I mean, if you did not know, both of the Sweet Baby Inc. co-creators are part of this project and helping this company with this game. It's just not okay. It's not something I and many other people wanted to support. And of course, she made this tweet and received a lot of backlash for it, but instead of standing her ground and sticking to what she said, she decided to not just delete the tweets, but delete her Twitter account. Kepler Interactive's ops manager, Lisa Kay, has deleted her account. She had previously been upset for me exposing the Flintlock Sweet Baby situation. Why do they hide? The internet never forgets. I understand that you might be facing backlash, but people are allowed to criticize you and criticize your project, and she should just have stood her ground and said, yep, this is how I feel. It is what it is. You're free to disagree. But instead, she deleted her account. Now, of course, I'm sure that in like a week or two, she'll probably be back and she'll probably say how she faced all of this harassment and how people that are, against Sweet Baby are sexist, because that's just what they do. They go down the playbook, and that's the card that she can play. But people are just laughing at her, saying, how could you think that this was going to go over well? Roaches scatter when you turn the lights on, still going with the far right thing. I mean, they are desperate to get people to hate gamers, even though they are game developers and they need gamers in order to sell their products. Like, you'd think that they would have a little bit more respect for us, but no, they have no respect for anybody they disagree with. Good job, keep the pressure on these rats. Their views fail in the marketplace of ideas. Outside of the bubble they insulate themselves in through threats and coercion blows up when the light's shown on it. Keep it up, right over the target. I mean, she deleted her account, which is a step above simply removing a tweet. But when she inevitably comes back, people are still going to criticize her. If you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you cannot handle backlash on social media, you should not be on social media. And yeah, maybe she won't end up coming back, but she's still an important part of this company, so it's not like she's just going to up and disappear. And to delete your account seems kind of extreme and really not professional at all whatsoever. She deleted it just because she was facing backlash over her own thoughts and her own opinions and just things that, let's be honest, are not true. I mean, piss weak pseudo-journalism that the far-right Gamergate are taking is so vile. That's just vile to say, because none of that is true at all whatsoever. And it will be interesting to see if she ends up returning, if she tries to, say people were harassing her, because that's what a lot of these journalists and developers are doing right now, is they're making controversial posts on social media. They either private their account or they lock their tweet threads. And then, of course, they make a statement saying that they were harassed and how awful people are. So it will be interesting to see if she ends up doing that. But at this point in time, she faced so much backlash and so much criticism that she decided to remove her account from the platform. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.